was that?
That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm? I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
Listen each weekday morning at 9 o'clock for the Roundtable here on News Radio WGNS. Interesting hosts and guests with the news, views, politics, sports, and people that are shaping Rutherford County. Here on News Radio WGNS.
Good afternoon. Clearing up a couple of accidents out here. It remains slow go. 24 over here around Shelby, where we had some problems earlier near the football stadium. Here's what we're seeing. Slow traffic right now. 65 north at Rivergate Parkway. 24 is still crawling up through Montgomery County in Clarksville going westbound. 24 at the Kentucky state line. We had some problems up through there earlier. When you need dependable towing for your car or truck, call STR Towing and Recovery right here in Middle Tennessee. I'm Commander Chuck, your on-time traffic.
That brisket came from your cow, right?
Yep, raised her, named her, thanked her, and now she's dinner.
Rutherford County Farmers Market. There's something fresh every week. Tuesdays and Fridays, 7 to 1 at Lane Agri Park in Murfreesboro on John R. Rice Boulevard.
I'll be back tomorrow with a Tuesday afternoon look at local news for you. I'm Matt Lane. We'll see you then. All Sports Talk is next.
The Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and online at wgnsradio.com. If it's passed, bounced, or hit, we're talking about it. It's All Sports Talk. From the Preps to MTSU, we've got you covered. All Sports Talk is on News Radio WGNS.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome into All Sports Talk on this Monday. Lots of sports news to talk about for sure. Tim Tackett, along with Brian Barrett running the board, I should say, and Jeff Jordan. Jeff brought to you by Fans Heating and Air and Lee Colvin Financial Services with Edward Jones. Mr. Jordan,
yes,
which of these jobs are you going to take? They're out there. They're coming up in large numbers. For those that don't know, the Titans have fired Brian Callahan. James Franklin got canned over the weekend from Penn State. I don't know who's next, but there's a ton. Reaction, Jeff, to Callahan, first of all.
Well, I think we probably ought to welcome Brian Barrett on our board. He's the true celebrity here. Don't you agree?
I think between this group here, there's several years of forecasting involved.
That's right, and he's kind of a celebrity kind of guy, but he won't say that he is. So okay.
Well, I'm still doing the same job today that I did in 1993 with you two. So
that's not entirely true.
How about that?
He's doing those jobs and a lot of others. First of all, I guess, although I'm not a particular fan of James Franklin. The only time I've ever met him was at a Vanderbilt basketball game, actually, and he came over, had his picture made with my granddaughter, who charmed him, and that sort of thing. And I saw him coach. I thought he did a good job. I really did, even though he was at Vanderbilt. You can't do a good job at Vanderbilt is not the same thing as a good job at Penn State. But anyway, okay. I don't know that I would have taken that step and fired him. I just don't know. But boy, the last 3 weeks have been a disaster for him and his team, and no question about it. He may not even make the playoffs, no matter who's coaching him. What was your feeling on it? Did you? I mean, it's a pretty drastic.
I think I said this 2 or 3 weeks ago that he would not survive it until the Vrabel game, which is coming up on this Sunday. Mike Vrabel, the former coach at the Titans, comes in with New England. I'm not surprised. He was dead man walking. I don't think it's going to change a lot with the Titans right now. Who knows? We'll find that out. But it becomes such an unpopular choice of the fans. Fans should not, cannot, never should be able to voice a coach all the way out. But I'm not a bit surprised.
We're talking Callahan now.
I'm talking Callahan.
Okay.
And the James Franklin thing, yes, that did surprise me, even though he was in some murky waters. Well, $49 million, Jeff. That is more than it was stated in some place I saw today. Division III schools across the country, all their budgets put together do not reach $49 million. It kind of tells you the status of big-time college football. But all that said, Penn State's a disaster. And let's stick with Callahan first. Then we need to get into college coaching, because there are a lot of college coaches that are losing their jobs very early, and we need to discuss as to why that be the case. But Callahan, the Titans, 1-5. They had a game handed to them, frankly, in Arizona for sure. For their win. Titans just have no offense at all, none. And there's another team locally that kind of falls in the same category, which our own Blue Raiders struggle offensively as well. But Callahan is gone, and Mike McCoy, I think was the name, of former head coach at San Diego, the interim coach right now. Titans come home to play New England on Sunday, and it will be really interesting to see how all that is taken in by the fans. And Sunday afternoon, I think we're going to see this be the Patriots take over the stadium on Sunday afternoon.
Well, it's very likely if there's any stadium to take over. I'm not sure there'll be that many people there, but maybe so. But most teams anywhere in the country at this date, when the season's half gone, you can look back and you say, boy, I wish we could just do that. What we did that half and so, and how we played against such and such. Even though we lost, how well we played and can recapture. Well, that's not true of the Titans.
No,
there's nothing to look back on much.
Even the win.
Yeah,
you look on it. As I say, it's highly tarnished. That it's one of those games clearly that Arizona lost as opposed to the Titans winning, don't you think?
Yeah, and the one that they really just had handed to them, there were two of the strangest plays. I've seen one of them maybe once or twice in my lifetime, and the other one I guess I've seen a few times, a fumble in the end zone. But the ball and how the ball got there was strange.
Sure.
And it was touched by 10 people and kicked by somebody, and the right guy got it. The other one, the only time I ever remember a player crossing the goal line and giving up the football before he got there with nobody on him was with a Pittsburgh receiver by the name of Shanklin. And he won many yards, and he got all the way to the 5, nobody anywhere near him, and spiked the football on Monday Night Football. And he was at like the 4-yard line when he did that. And he, of course, he mistook the 5-yard line for the goal line, I guess.
Right.
But anyway, that's the only time I've ever seen anybody do that. This guy, it was almost like he dropped it, wasn't it? I mean, he just kind of juggled it, and I don't know what he did. He just lost the football, and he went right on out of the end zone. Strange.
Well, Titans at 1-5 struggled mightily against Las Vegas, and so the question is, who will the next coach be? And that'll be discussed for quite some time through. Don't expect that to happen anytime soon, though. I wouldn't think.
I wouldn't think so either. And I don't know this. Quite often, when a person does that sort of thing and takes the job and whatever, he's interim coach, and he gets to the end of the year and they renew his contract if he does well, and maybe he gets the job. I don't know, but if he doesn't pick up some W's here, he has no chance for the job. And he knew that. He knows that.
The question really is, and this is open for debate, how much of this is the coach and how much of it is lack of talent on the Titans? Are the Titans, the roster itself, the 53 men there trying to get this done, are they that much lower than the rest of the teams in the NFL? I certainly don't think Callahan did a great job, but Jeff, I don't think Titans have a lot of talent on that football team.
Well, they must be missing at some places. They've got a superstar, 2 or 3 on that roster, but they are attempting to do something that is extremely difficult to do, and that's win with a rookie quarterback who really does not have years and years of taking snaps somewhere. And he's taking them now, and I notice one thing you'll always notice in this situation with rookie quarterbacks is that he holds the ball too long, and he gets in trouble and he gets sacked, and that happened to him over and over the other day, and I'm sure he's frustrated. I'm sure he wants to get things done, but he's under pressure a lot. But and also here, as you did, I'm sure that the Las Vegas and the Titans were fighting it out to see who was the worst team in the league. Well, I guess we settled that, if that's the truth.
I don't know. Jeff's got to be right there in that conversation as well. But Cam Ward, and then we'll get off this Titans thing. The question is, at this one time, is he worthy of a number 1 pick? And I think it's almost impossible to know. He has very little depth in the wide receiver position at all. Running back, Tony Pollard is pretty good. Offensive line is weak as water, comparatively speaking. I think it's very unfair to know what Cam Ward literally can do, because he does not have many of those things that you have to have. A quarterback cannot do it in the NFL without receivers and offensive line help and a game plan from coaches and so forth. I think trying to make a read on Cam Ward right now is impossible to do. I tend to think that he's going to be a pretty good quarterback.
And I agree with that. And we need to remember, of course, something else too, and that is that he doesn't run a lot, and he could. He's fast. He's okay, but they don't want him running. They don't have a backup. They don't have anybody backing him up. And I'm sure they've got a backup quarterback. I guess it's a guy that played last year. I suppose he was miserable as well, but they don't want Ward to get hurt. He's also their number 1 pick and their future. I see enough in him to see that he was in a weak quarterback year. He's probably worth it. He's the number 1 pick. Okay.
Let's come back and spend a little time talking about college football after this break, and then we've got high school football to talk about some, and then we can talk about basketball a little bit because it's coming our way, and baseball. I think they're playing the World Series here pretty soon.
I heard that.
All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Sign-ups are going on right now for First Shot's Winter Basketball League in Rutherford County. Coach Andy Herzer guides kids to sharpen basketball skills and build teamwork through exciting clinics and games. Since 2003, First Shot has empowered youth to grow in mind, spirit, and body. Don't miss out. Join the fun and develop lifelong skills. Visit firstshottn.org today and register for the Winter Basketball League. That's firstshottn.org.
If you want to get some barbecue, I'll tell you how to do it. Head for the Slick Pig and you're into it. Just walk through the door at 1920 East Main and your nose will send a message right to your brain. Say, smells good, and barbecue. Slick Pig. We got ribs and beans. Got spicy wings. Slick Pig.
A Murfreesboro tradition. 1920 East Main.
At State Farm, when home and auto work as a team, you score and save money. I'm State Farm agent Andy Wama. Give me a call at 615-890-0850 and let's work together to win big by saving money on home and auto. With the service you get from State Farm, you might think our car insurance costs more. I'm State Farm agent Andy Wama. Give me a call at 615-890-0850 and let me show you with discounts up to 40%. You may find it even costs less.
For 75 years, Murfreesboro Medical Clinic has been a cornerstone of health and compassion in our community. From our humble beginnings to the advanced, comprehensive care we offer today, our commitment to you has never wavered. With 8 locations across Murfreesboro and Middle Tennessee and over 100 physicians, we continue to provide the highest standard of care. Then, now, and always, your health is our mission.
In AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at wgnsradio.com.
Tim Tackett along with Jeff Jordan. Jeff brought to you by Fans Heating and Air, Lee Collin Financial Services. Need to mention one other name to the list of coaching changes over the last 72 hours or so. A name that will be known by most folks in this area. Trent Dilfer now is no longer the coach at UAB in his second year there after a stint as high school coaching in the national ranks. And so the question, Jeff, and I think there's an answer to this that's not pretty obvious. This is 7 or 8. Oklahoma State, UCLA, Penn State, UAB. I'm missing 2 or 3 someplace along the line. Coaches that are already been fired in college football. This has got to be nothing but transfer portal that's causing these early. You can't afford to wait to the end. And my question is this: there's a rule that says 30 days after a coach is let go or coach change is made, you can go into NIL and make it. In transfer portal. Well, you can't go to the transfer portal in October and get into school and play football, right?
Right.
So if I fire somebody now, the 30 days comes and goes without losing any players because nobody could transfer really in October. Does that mean they've kind of gotten off the hook at the end of the season?
No, I don't think so. And they can announce it that they're leaving. They just don't leave. They're still in school. You see what I'm saying? They don't play anymore. So evidently, I'm not getting through to you.
No,
you're not getting through to me.
Explain that to me.
Well, I'm just saying that if they fire the coach, a player can say, "Well, I'm not going to play here anymore."
Okay.
All right, and then they can't go anywhere then, though. Not then.
Sure.
They're going to wait. If they can save some eligibility.
My question is, are you more likely to lose more players at the end of a season than you would be right now? How many kids at UAB are going to transfer in October to someplace else?
I wouldn't think very many.
Which means at the end of the season they can't transfer because the coaching changed. They do the regular channels of transfer portal. I guess I think that's the reason you're going to see more and more fired early on to try to circumvent some of the transfers that you may lose.
Well, I guess that's entirely possible. I'm the guy who usually doesn't want to fire the coach. I think sometimes we fire too early. I just know we do. Mm-hmm. But I would be in the minority on that. I would. I met a lot of people who are in the last 10 days or so that are just really upset with Middle Tennessee.
Sure.
And I can in a way I can understand why. But do I want to fire the guy? No, not yet.
Well, firing coaches has been long the solution for fans to deal with. The question is, at any school, Penn State, it ain't chump change to pay a man $49 million not to coach.
That's really the kind of the story in a way to me. I mean, $49 million, you're going to have to come up with all of it, I guess. I don't really know what his contract, how it reads, but my goodness.
My understanding is it reads that he can get it through the length of the contract. I think he's got until 2031 or so, so they could pay him a fifth, something like that. $10 million a year for the next 5 years. It's still $49 million anyway you slice it up.
I think I just don't understand why we're paying him anybody that much anyway. But okay, I'm wrong.
Well, Jimbo Fisher, if you remember back when he get let go at Texas A&M, that was a $73 million buyout there. The question at any school, let's use a UAB and then a Penn State. Who pays that $49 million? In more cases than not, you're going to go out to donors that have more money than Jeff Jordan and Tim Tackett have to get that money from. But that's $49 million that they should be putting into the program itself. schools like UAB, you got to wonder, they don't have the funding that Penn State's got.
No.
It's easy to say fire the coach or why do we have this kind of a contract, but most any coach that you hire nowadays, Jeff, are going to get some type of a buyout that's beyond what most of us thinks makes sense. If you're going to hire a coach, the next coach they hire at Penn State, what kind of buyout do you think he's going to have?
Well, it won't be $49 million.
I bet it will.
No, I don't think so. No.
I bet it will.
Well, we're going to find out, I guess.
If you want a top 5 coach, which is what Penn State's going to want, right?
Yes, yeah.
If you want a top 5 coach, in that, let's just play foolish here and say Nick Saban wants to go. What kind of buyout do you think they would give to Nick Saban if he would come? What kind of contract would they give him?
I'm not including him in my estimates, but okay, a lot of money.
More than makes sense.
Yes.
And would he get a $49 million buyout?
Yes, probably so.
So, now Nick Saban's not going to Penn State.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Don't start that rumor at all. He's not going any place like that. But if they want the hottest name on the list right now probably is the coach at Indiana, because he's done the impossible. Jeff, he's done the impossible. Clark Lee at Vanderbilt got to be high on the list because he's done the impossible. Vanderbilt is a favorite this week against LSU. Tell me the last time that happened.
I have no idea, but it never probably, but maybe it has at some point.
So you want the coach at Indiana, the hottest ticket, a guy that's gone to school. Trust me, I'm from the state of Indiana. I know the history of Indiana football. If you want that guy, you're going to have to pay big money with a big payout. Buyout, I should say.
Right.
Now, if you're willing to settle for the assistant coach at San Diego State, you probably won't have to pay near that much. But they don't want that. Penn State's not going to accept that.
No.
So what's it going to take to get the coach that they want, whoever that happens to be?
And I don't know the answer to that one, and I don't have any idea who that would be. But I do know this: if that person is coaching somewhere today, then Penn State will not only have to pay James Franklin his buyout, but they're going to have to pay the other university, wherever this guy comes from. They're going to have to pay his buyout, or part of his buyout.
A good bit of it, yeah.
And that just increases the price. Now
then on top of that, $9 to $10 million a year to coach.
Yes. I don't know if Nick Saban decided and announced that he was ready to coach again next year. How much could he get? The salary. Forget the buyout, just the salary. I mean, he was already making $10 million.
Jeff,
it's a lot. It's a lot. Now he's a special case. I know he is a special case, and he's older, and he's not going to be somewhere 10 years or anything like that. So he would be a little bit different. But
by the way, Bill Belichick's probably available.
Yeah. Boy, that's one thing, and I don't usually know. I mean, I don't know any more than a lot of other people know, but I just felt like that is not going to work. Bill Belichick anywhere in college football, but he's there.
Well, there's a lot of positions that are opening. There will be more that will happen, and there's more cases. When you're 1-5, which is where you're at, Middle Tennessee, that's where you are with the Titans. When you're 1-5, you're going to have a lot of fans saying, why are we going to keep this guy? Fair to say?
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm not looking for that to happen in Middle. And I'm going to stay optimistic. I still think that there's good opportunities there. But the sad part of it, Jeff, is this. Every Saturday, 50% of the teams are going to lose a game. And somebody's going to finish 16th in the SEC. And if you're at Arkansas and you don't win, you're going to get fired. If you're at LSU, you don't win, you're going to get fired. If you're at any place at Kentucky. The guy has done everything you can at Kentucky. Jeff, he's on the hot seat to be fired.
And he, by the way, I think if that happened, I believe he would have a new job by the end of the year. I may be wrong.
So
we'll see.
It's such a competitive world out there, and large money and the TV contracts. And where does it end, Jeff?
I don't know, but I know this: if I were doing that job, and I would assume if I were doing it, that I would have done a pretty good job at some point, I'd be saving every dime I could get, because the bad times are coming, and coaches are going to get fired, and eventually it's going to happen to you.
Well, here's the part about this that makes for conversation, at least. If James Franklin didn't get a nickel of that $49 million, which he's going to get it all, he's still in pretty good shape. Don't you imagine?
I think so,
yeah. He'll probably live through it.
Oh, me.
So time will tell. A couple things and we'll take a break. Alabama, Tennessee this weekend.
This is the weekend. This is the big one.
At Alabama, what's the point spread? What do you think the point spread is?
Do you know what it is?
I do.
Okay.
I already gave one away that I would never guess LSU being an underdog to Vanderbilt, but they are. Point spread, Alabama, Tennessee. It's in
Alabama about 3.
9.5.
Alabama about 9.5.
9.5.
That's a lot.
That is a whole bunch. So we'll have to see how that works itself out.
Don't bet, ladies and gentlemen, on what I said, please.
There was one more that kind of struck my fancy, but I can't remember what it is. But I will over the break, and we'll come back and we'll talk about that one as well. Chip Walters has the Blue Raider Insider Report right here on All Sports Talk.
For 75 years, Murfreesboro Medical Clinic has been a cornerstone of health and compassion in our community. From our humble beginnings to the advanced, comprehensive care we offer today, our commitment to you has never wavered. With 8 locations across Murfreesboro and Middle Tennessee and over 100 physicians, we continue to provide the highest standard of care. Then, now, and always, your health is our mission.
Clark's Auction Company will get you top dollar for your property.
Auctions are easy, fast, and profitable.
Whether you're buying or selling a home or commercial property, the auction is just so much easier, quicker, smoother.
My wife and I sold our personal home. Parks Auction helped us with that. The house brought about 20% more than we were going to ask for.
Visit parksauction.com.
Clark's Auction Company will get you top dollar for your property.
Clark's Auction Company, committed to auction excellence.
Sold it to you, 27.5.
This is Pastor Nikki Ajapong, the lead pastor of Holy Hill Chapel in Murfreesboro.
Here are sermons on WGNS every Sunday night at 7:30.
Everyday life, never take it for granted.
Visit Holy Hill Chapel, tn.org to hear our podcast.
It's a blessing.
Good afternoon. It's really clogged up at times trying to get into Clarksville. It's been that way on and off today with some problems up there. I can still see slow traffic if you're headed towards Montgomery County there in Clarksville and 24 west towards the Kentucky state line. It's been a mess up there as traffic gets heavy now 65 north here at Vietnam Vets trying to get past Rivergate Parkway. Stein Dental Care in Nashville has over 350 5-star wonderful reviews. That's Stein Dental Care in Nashville. Give them a call. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
This is Kirk Bug with Parks Auction. Don't miss your chance to own a piece of Murfreesboro history. An elegant colonial estate with 5 bedrooms and 5.5 baths at 2251 Middle Tennessee Boulevard. The auction will be October the 18th at 10 a.m. See you there.
The Blue Raider Insider Report with Chip Walters of Exit Realty, Bob Lamb & Associates is brought to you by RAI Advisors and 9 Team Insurance. The report is coming up after this.
You're listening to the flagship station for Blue Raiders sports.
Caught 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Middle Tennessee.
Play up bench, Cole.
Middle Tennessee football, basketball, and baseball. Yeah, we got them.
You're listening to the flagship station for Blue Raider Athletics. I'm Chip Walters. Hear the games here on News Radio WGNS.
Middle Tennessee wins. Raiders win the championship.
Your source for the Big Blue and the Borough. News Radio WGNS. All sports talk on News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at wgnsradio.com.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Let's talk women's golf off the top. Middle Tennessee women's golf great Hanley Long finished as the runner-up at the 2025 U.S. Women's Mid-Amateur Championship at Monterey Peninsula Country Club in Pebble Beach, California. Her final match, in which she fell in 23 holes, marked the longest U.S. Women's Mid-Amateur Championship history. The Clarksville native finished tied for 45th in stroke play of the tournament and quickly made her way through the match play bracket. While she played a trio of close matches in the opening 3 rounds, she swiftly advanced through the quarterfinals at 5-4 before dominating the semifinals with a 6-4 win over Shannon Fish Martin to advance to the finals for the first time. With her finish, Long received a silver medal, an exemption into the next 3 U.S. Women's Mid-Amateur Championships, and a spot in the upcoming U.S. Women's Amateur. The 27-year-old competed in the tournament last season, exiting in the round of 32. So congratulations on a great week of golf for Blue Raider alum Hanley Long. Women's soccer, Middle Tennessee overcame an early deficit to secure a 2-1 victory over FIU on Sunday at the Dean Hayes Track and Soccer Stadium. Middle is now 8-4-3 overall, 3-1-1 in Conference USA. FIU drops to 6-4-3, 3-2 in league play. The Blue Raiders faced a challenge after the Panthers scored just 3 minutes into the match, taking a 1-0 lead. Senior forward Emma Pedersen equalized in the 83rd minute, finishing a pass from freshman Lila Cornell. Pedersen then contributed the game-winning goal 6 minutes later, connecting with a cross from senior Aiden Cavalli, with an additional assist credited to junior Hannah Murphy in the 89th minute, securing the comeback. Middle Tennessee back in action again later this week. We'll give you more information on that as the week goes along. Women's tennis concluded a competitive weekend at the MTSU Invitational, achieving significant success in both singles and doubles matches against opponents such as Lipscomb, Miami of Ohio, Southeast Missouri, and Missouri State. A complete rundown is available on GoBlueRaiders.com. Middle Tennessee volleyball dropped a tough contest to Delaware in 4 sets. The set scores were 21-25, 11-25, 25-23, and 23-25. The Blue Raiders led the Blue Hens in kills, assists, and digs again for their second matchup. The Blue Raiders up next will host Liberty this Friday and Saturday. That'll be 6 o'clock Friday night, 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon, all at Alumni Memorial Gym. Well, Blue Raider football is off this week. They will play a week from Wednesday at Delaware, but the midweek CUSA schedule is back in action again this week. Coming up tomorrow night, 2 games on CBS. New Mexico State will be at Liberty, and FIU will be at Western Kentucky. Then on Wednesday night, UTEP will be at Sam Houston. That will be on the CBS Sports Network. And Delaware will be on the road at Jacksonville State. So you get an opportunity to take a look at Middle's next 2 opponents in that game on Wednesday when Delaware faces, it'll be birds of a feather, the Blue Hens and the Gamecocks in that matchup, and that will be on ESPN Wednesday night at 6 o'clock. All right, that's it for today, folks. We'll have another update for you coming tomorrow right here on the Big G, WGNS.
Are you paying hundreds of dollars too much for your home and auto insurance?
Let the team at My Team Insurance help, a true independent insurance agency that represents you in protecting your home, your cars, your business, your life, and your health. Call My Team Insurance today, 895-4201. That's 895-4201. Proud to be sponsoring the Blue Raiders and proud to say, let's go Blue.
Whether you need general vehicle upkeep and maintenance or a complete vehicle overhaul, Hall's Auto Care is here for you. We're locally owned and operated by Greg Hall and have been in business since 2014. You'll get excellent service and trustworthy advice with Hall's Auto Care. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. We're ready to help get you safely on the road. Hall's Auto Care, 907 Ridgely Road, just off Broad Street behind Chili's. Online at hallsautocare.net. Hall's Auto Care.
When severe weather strikes, we break in.
A tornado watch is in effect for Rutherford County.
The most up-to-date weather information.
We'll be here with you on radio and with Rutherford Weather video channels as we continue to track this storm. As it
Get 10-point details on severe and impactful weather in Rutherford County with Rutherford Weather.
A severe thunderstorm watch is in effect for Rutherford County.
Listen to Rutherford weather updates on WGNS and watch on YouTube and Facebook by following at RUCO Weather. That's RUCO Weather. The Wake Up Crew, weekday mornings, 6 to 7:50.
WGNS, your good neighbor station.
Rutherford County's place to talk. All sports talk on News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSradio.com.
There are three gentlemen in this room that have not been fired today. Tim Tackett, Brian Barrett, and Jeff Jordan. Jeff, how about that? We survived another weekend.
My day doesn't end until 6, by the way. So.
Mine neither.
I did not win a game this weekend.
No, you didn't. I noticed that. I think we need to get rid of you. You need to go.
Well, those that have not heard, Brian Callahan fired by the Titans today. A string of coaches in college football have met their Waterloo, and let's go to high school football, which I think everybody's at least going to survive the season, Jeff.
It looks like they are. Mm-hmm.
Fall break is over, so we get back to regular scheduling, a little bit more going on. What, 4 games left in the regular season, is that fair to say?
3. I believe that's right.
Okay, down to 3. So why don't you tell us about what's going on this weekend?
Well, here's the schedule, and there's some attractive games on here, even though a couple of teams are out of the playoff picture.
Attractive. Yes.
Smyrna is at Blackman, and that's an interesting game to me. I really think so. Oakland is at Laverne. That will not be an interesting game. Eagleville is Huntland. Providence Christian is at PCA. Siegel is at Riverdale, and Brian Barrett will be there, I guess. With that's what WGNS is doing this Friday. Tullahoma at Rockvale, Webb at Stewart's Creek, and Middle Tennessee Christian School at Tifton Rosemark. So it's a full schedule, and we're heading into tournament and playoff, of course, but we really don't know anything. Well, we know a little bit, I guess, but whether Oakland is going to win it or not, I would think they would win it. But whether they're going to or not and do it, we won't know that until about 9:30 or so in 3 weeks.
I was going to say we're mathematically in a situation that Riverdale, the Battle of the Borough, will be the game that will really decide 1, 2, 3 situation. Blackman, provided they do not lose again. Riverdale's already lost to Blackman. Oakland and Riverdale are to play, and Oakland's beaten Blackman. So we'll have to see how it goes. It's hard for me to see Oakland getting beat, though, Jeff.
I agree.
And that means I'm talking about all the way through the thing. They've got state championship written all over them. Have you figured out yet? Brian comes in, he may address this, he may know the answer to it. The football playoff format has changed to the point that Riverdale and Oakland or Blackman and Oakland do not have to meet in week 3 as they've had to do in the past.
That is correct.
Which is an advantage to those schools to be able to go one more week in that situation. So we'll see how that goes. Eagleville in pretty good shape to make the playoffs, aren't they?
I think so. Yes, and they've got a good football team. For their level, they're not on the same level as Oakland and Riverdale, but they're in the AA, and yes, I think they've got a good football team. They usually do make the playoffs, don't they? Floyd Walker's done an amazing job out there.
PCA and Middle Tennessee Christian School both with the opportunity to get in the playoffs as well, so there's more football to be played. The weather this week's just going to be just exactly perfect, it appears. I think the rain, if there is rain to be had, my understanding is it probably will be Saturday before it might roll in. And right now, these afternoon practices, you kind of hit the third month of football gets to be a little tough to put that helmet on out there every day, but it ain't a bad place to be outside at 5 o'clock right now this time of year.
Well, you can, most coaches, most teams, and I'm not saying your team, fans, but a lot of teams, to put it that way, when they get this time of year, coaches have planned the practices already. That was done Saturday or Sunday. They've looked over the injury situation. They've made some adjustments. Monday, they may walk through some things. They may watch some film. They may do a few things, some passing drills and whatnot. And probably Tuesday, they may hit a little bit and pads and so forth. And Wednesday, they ease up. And Thursday, they really ease up before Friday's game. That's this time of year. That's not August 20th. That's this time of year. And they're, of course, trying to stay away from injuries, trying to let people heal up. They know where they're right. They've seen the opponent. I can guarantee you today, Oakland they know everything there is to know about, possible to know about Riverdale. A lot of people are talking about that game. Okay, you go ahead and talk about it if you want to. I wouldn't say too much for a couple of weeks, but anyway, and the vice is also true. Riverdale knows everything that Oakland's run this year, who their athletes are, all about them. So there won't be many new wrinkles between now and the end of that game. But we're right here for the playoffs, right?
Since the man who handed us the playoff picture in front of us is here and has more experience with this than I do, and is a man that knows high school football better than I do, Brian, explain to me what you just handed.
So this is the first time I've seen it. I don't know when the TSSAA put this up, but the entire top half of this bracket has Region 1's number 1 against Region 2's 4. It's 1-4-2-3. That's the way it's always been.
Sure.
But in the same, they're calling it pod, with Region 1 and 2's 1 and 4 is Region 3's number 2, which if it were today, it would be Blackman or Riverdale. It would be Blackman because Blackman beat Riverdale, taking on Region 4's number 3. That's Wilson County, or not Wilson County, but Lebanon and that group. But as you see, that sets up, if Blackman were to win, that sets up a matchup in the second round between either the Region 1 number 1 or Region 2 number 4. So the second round and the third round, you're just playing these East Tennessee teams earlier. And I was telling Jeff before you guys went on the air that had the playoffs taken place, if this had been the setup last year, you probably would have seen a quarterfinal matchup with Riverdale at Maryville.
Okay.
Which most likely, I think, would have ended in a Riverdale victory, and Oakland would have won, and Oakland and Riverdale would have played in the semifinals instead of the quarterfinals.
Yeah, what we've always had is in Rutherford County for the last, I say always had,
right,
last forever. And the two Rutherford County schools that survived
in the quarters
would have had to play in the quarterfinal round. They could not possibly go as far as the semifinal. This year, it is possible for two Rutherford County schools to make it to the semis. They still can't play for a state championship, but they could make it one more round, which is the advantage to Riverdale/Blackman over the last several years.
Well, it keeps you from playing the same people all over again. I think that Region 1 and 2 in East Tennessee are typically, take Maryville out of the picture, I think they're typically weaker than maybe our top 4. So I think you've got some better matchups and chances to go deeper. I mean, we've always had 2 Rutherford County teams playing in the quarterfinals. Well, here you may have, let's just be greedy, you could have 4 Rutherford County teams playing in the quarterfinals to go to the semis to play each other. It happens in round 1 and 2 now, so could it not happen then? But gone are the years of all of the talk was, some teams go east and some go west. Well, Smyrna and whatnot and that region, it never happened. It never happened that there was an all Rutherford County championship game,
right,
which would have been the rarest of rare things, I think, to happen anyway.
I don't guess we ever had it.
Now, we had one team come out of the West, and that was when Smyrna went to a place that I hope I'll never have to go again, and that was a Memphis team that played across from Graceland. It was a very bad experience. But Smyrna went down there and won, and they played Maryville. It was Matt Williams' first year. Played Maryville in the championship game and missed a field goal, I think, to lose by 3 to Maryville. But only time we had anybody come out of the West to the championship game.
All right, so this kind of begs the question, and I think we know the answer to it. Why has this never been done before? And this does create a more cumbersome travel situation for schools in the second round, third round than they might have had in the past. And okay, so if I'm Riverdale, I get to play Maryville instead of Oakland.
Yay!
Yeah,
and I get to drive farther too to do that. And it.
But you also may play a William Blount, and if you have to go on the road to William Blount and they've had a good season, they're not the caliber of Riverdale. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I think if you take Maryville out of that mix, because they're always pretty good, you've got a chance at Kingsport Dobbins Bennett. Siegel did it when we had that crazy round of 32 or whatever, and they went as the 6th seed and went to number 1 Dobbins Bennett and won. And I don't know that they've been in the playoffs since then, if I can remember correctly, but maybe they have. But so I mean, I think outside of Maryville, you've got a good chance.
Here's the part I guess that can be difficult with 6A schools. You're typically going to have a budget that makes that work. With 1A schools, you're going to make some of the same kinds of trips.
Yeah,
it makes it a little tougher for them to make that math work. As far as travel planning is concerned, Jeff, you're shaking your head up and down.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got to remember too that every school, a lot of schools are different, but in many cases, football and football receipts pay the expenses of some other teams.
Sure.
That are in the school.
Yes.
And if you don't have that. And if that money comes out automatically, and I understand, I get it, but if they do, then somebody's going to have to write a check for that bus to go a couple of 100 miles to play. I mean, it just is, and it's just not in the budget for the football team or a band. Or I want my band to go. I do, every one of them. But boy, it can really cost you.
Well, on the smallest level. In Division II Single A, Middle Tennessee Christian School this year has gone to play region games in Chattanooga, Johnson City. We're scheduled to go to Knoxville, but that team said we're not playing football, so they lost that game. The same with Webb out of Bell Buckle. They replaced one of those games with Asheville, North Carolina on the road. And this week they're going to Tipton Rosemark. And so before fall break, they played at Clay County. They go to Tipton Rosemark this week. They go to Asheville, North Carolina the week after before finally getting a home game with PCA. That's their region.
Yeah. Oh, I tell you what, I just see dollar bills. I mean, even the people are donating. I get it. Some boosters are going to have to write some checks. They just have to. Well, and I guess they do.
Never forget the year that I was at Oakland. And our tennis team was not predicted to do it, but they did. They won the region, so they got to go to state championships in Memphis for 3 days. There was no money in anybody's budget at all. But you're not going to tell your tennis team you can't go to state tournament.
Right.
So you find it somewhere, somehow, but that's money that probably should have been spent on some more blessed academic venture.
Sure.
I would think. the tennis, and God bless our tennis team for doing that, but it kind of sounds like, let's say, the Big Ten, with Stanford going to Rutgers for a volleyball match, or let's say Middle Tennessee going to El Paso, Texas for a soccer match.
We used to go to Idaho, Tim. But go ahead.
We've all kind of gone nuts crazy about finding ways to spend money.
There's a wonderful trip for the Blue Raiders to Delaware next Wednesday.
Well, I think that very same thing. Well, think about Delaware. You know where their closest closest conference game is? Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Well, yeah.
Every road game Delaware in Conference USA is going to play will be a air trip to Bowling Green, to Murfreesboro, to Florida International in Boca Raton, Florida, El Paso, Texas.
I'm sure that's in their softball budget, though, to make all those flights.
The dollars are rolling. Let's take a quick break, and we come back and spend about 2 minutes and close things out on All Sports Talk.
For 75 years, Murfreesboro Medical Clinic has been a cornerstone of health and compassion in our community. From our humble beginnings to the advanced, comprehensive care we offer today, our commitment to you has never wavered. With 8 locations across Murfreesboro and Middle Tennessee and over 100 physicians, we continue to provide the highest standard of care. Then, now, and always, your health is our mission.
Chip Walters, and I'm honored to be your 2024 MTAR Realtor of the Year. I'm with Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates, and like many of you, I've seen the real estate market shift and change. People often ask, Chip, what's really going on? Well, that's a great question, and I believe in answering with solid, factual data. So let's cut through some of the noise. I invite you to reach out. Let's have a conversation about your real estate goals and the current market trends in your neighborhood. You can find all my contact information at choosechip.net.
When severe weather strikes, we break in.
A tornado watch is in effect for Rutherford County.
The most up-to-date weather information.
We'll be here with you on radio and with Rutherford Weather Video Channel.
Rutherford weather updates on WGNS, and watch on YouTube and Facebook with Rutherford Weather.
Good afternoon. It's really clogged up at times trying to get into Clarksville. It's been that way on and off today with some problems up there. I can still see slow traffic if you're headed towards Montgomery County there in Clarksville, 24 west towards the Kentucky state line. It's been a mess up there as traffic gets heavy now 65 north here at Vietnam Vest, trying to get past Rivergate Parkway. Stein Dental Care in Nashville has over 350 five-star wonderful reviews. That's Stein Dental Care in Nashville. Give them a call. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We do it your way, Sir Pizza.
Your favorites can now be ordered online at sirpizzatn.com. Carryout and delivery are available. Just go to sirpizzatn.com and tap the location closest to you.
All sports talk on News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at wgnsradio.com.
Jeff, we are down to 4 squads of Major League Baseball.
Yes, we are. That's right.
Seattle and the Blue Jays, Mariners, Blue Jays, and then the Dodgers and Brewers will be starting their playoff runs toward the World Series. Predictions.
Well, you know, I think that just half the country predicted the Dodgers. And not this time, but I mean just in the beginning of the year. And
speaking of money,
yeah, and I think we're probably, you know, there's no reason to change that. But they have underachieved. They haven't had this tremendous year, you know, where they just dominate everybody. I mean, they had all kinds of trouble with San Diego.
Sure,
but be that as it may,
they're still there and kicking, and probably going to make the World Series.
Probably so. I'm one of the few people that you know that actually sat up and watched the Mariners win that 15-inning game the other night. And it was a delightful game, a lot of fun. But I have to admit, they got to about the 13th. I thought, man, you know. But anyway, I hung in there with it. But then the announcers, this shows you about us announcers. They said, well, after they've played all this time, they won't have much left when they get to Toronto. So what do? They go to Toronto and they win. So, you know, we got Toronto, who didn't they have the best year in baseball?
Brewers had the best record in baseball.
Brewers had the best year. Okay, had the most victories.
Yeah, best record in baseball.
Well, Toronto was right there. I know that.
Toronto can hit the ball, by the way.
Well, they didn't hit it last night, but you're right. You're right.
So we got next Monday when we show up for we may know the World Series combatants. Probably not. This is the best of 7 series, so this one should last about 10 days, right?
Right.
Should.
It should get us into November.
All right, that's going to wrap things up. There is no coach's show this evening, so do not make it. Well, go on out the boulevard. That's all right if you want to eat, but you won't have a coach's show to watch. We'll come back with more All Sports Talk tomorrow on All Sports right here on WGNS Radio.
McCabe Vision Center.
Everything in my left eye just looked like it was cloudy, foggy, had a skim over it. Looked like I was looking through real dirty glass, and I was having trouble driving. The lights glared.